The use of introspection as a method for the scientific study of the mind has been well catalogued throughout the history of psychology. An example of this occurred in 1953 when prominent historian of psychology Edwin G. Boring published a history of introspection in a psychological bulletin. Over 2 decades later, a lesser-known David A. Lieberman argued for the revival of introspection in his American Psychologist article titled Behaviorism and the Mind, a Limited Call for a Return to Introspection. Boring's work attempts to provide a comprehensive view of the use of introspection in scientific psychology by describing its evolution and the criticisms that have shaped the perception of its validity. Boring makes adequate use of a wide array of sources. Although Boring does not use correspondence or memoirs as sources, he studied at Cornell under E.B. Tishner, a major figure and proponent of introspection. Boring is successful in approximating an objective view on the use of introspection as a reliable method for examining consciousness. His words are dispassionate and mostly free of colorful language. Lieberman's article, A Limited Call for a Return to Introspection, was published during the cognitive movement in psychology, which flourished after 1960. Lieberman's main argument, although flawed in significant ways, states that introspection should not be completely discarded as a method for the scientific study of the mind. Lieberman uses many sources and often cites scientific studies published in research journals. There isn't much evidence that Lieberman has had contact with any of the major figures in the history of introspection. Lieberman presents the history of introspection in a manner that favors his view. When discussing the behaviorist viewpoint against introspection, he often interjects with criticism. Adding counterpoints immediately after the presentation of the behaviorist viewpoint detracts the reader from accepting the viewpoint in context. Boring's A History of Introspection provides the discipline of psychology with insight into the stirring of the events that allowed the history of introspection to unfold the way it did. On the other hand, Lieberman's article is a persuasive piece, successful in presenting his argument in a compelling fashion.